10 years into our relationship, Jason had finally agreed to marry me. But during the wedding gown shoot, the moment the photographer asked us for a few kissing shots, he frowned and muttered something about germs, pushed me away, and stalked off alone. I stood there awkwardly, apologizing to the crew on his behalf. Snow was falling hard and rides were scarce, so I trudged home through the drifts, one heavy step after another. I reached our new penthouse loft, and walked in on Jason kissing his white moonlight so deeply they couldn't bear to part. "Tawny, one word from you and I'll leave her at the altar tomorrow." All those years of faithful devotion became a punchline in an instant. After I cried my eyes out, I decided to run first. Later, the whole circuit gossiped that the Vance heir was combing the globe for his runaway fiancée, begging her to come back. I stood outside the loft, watching through the floor-to-ceiling glass as Jason and Tawny devoured each other. He held her so tightly, kissing her like he was branding her into his bones, nothing like the cold, ascetic man I knew. My coat, shoes, and hair were soaked. I was iced to the core. The chill crawled into my stomach until it heaved. I watched them roll onto the bed I'd chosen myself, recorded a clip on my phone, then vomited until the world spun. All these years Jason had never kissed me in bed. He'd claimed he was a germaphobe, and I'd believed him. Turns out he just loved someone else. He only kissed the one his heart wanted. When they heard the retching, they looked toward the terrace together. They were the ones cheating, yet I was the one who instinctively ducked out of sight. Drenched in snowmelt, I shivered uncontrollably, planning to slip back in once Tawny left. An hour passed, no one came out. I sneezed, then dragged my frozen body back inside. The loft was warm. Jason, who never lifted a finger, was cooking. He moved with practiced ease. This wasn't his first time at the stove. The vent had roared, but the sharp scent of chili still drifted over. And I have chronic gastritis, I never touch spicy food. Little glutton, the dish isn't even finished. Jason glanced back with a smile. When he saw me, the smile flatlined. "Oh, it's you. You're dripping, go shower and change. You're tracking water everywhere." "Sorry." I squeezed my soaked parka and apologized by reflex. Jason frowned, about to say more, when Tawny appeared. Her lips were swollen, cheeks flushed, clearly just kissed senseless. I looked at her. She tugged her blouse and stammered, "Skylar, don't get the wrong idea." Why would she? "Roads are a mess tonight, my sister-in-law is staying over." Jason's tone didn't waver, final. Tawny had dated his late older brother. They never married, but Jason still called her sister-in-law. When the food was ready he called her to eat. Watching her enjoy the meal, he grinned, never noticing I only picked at plain rice. Afterward Tawny went to bed. This was my marital home, yet Jason put her in the master and relegated me to the guest room. I didn't prep the guest bed, she won't rest well. Make do. But I'd never even slept in the master myself, how could another woman lie there? I wanted to protest, but the words died in my throat. Jason stayed with her until almost midnight before coming to me. Cold, hungry, replaying their kiss on a loop, I couldn't close my eyes. When he slipped in, I almost blurted every question. "If you don't love me, why marry me? How can you kiss someone else days before our vows? How can you hold her like that while I'm right here?" They jammed my throat. I only managed, "Jason, if you're having second thoughts, we can call it off." He could cancel, I could take it. But I couldn't take being jilted at the altar like a fool. I kept it diplomatic, pretending I hadn't seen a thing. I thought he'd flinch, explain, or seize the chance to end things. Instead his face darkened. "Because I talked a little longer with my sister-in-law, you threatened to cancel?" "Skylar, you're 28, not 8, stop throwing tantrums about the wedding." I clutched the blanket. "But Tawny's different, you were in love with her. That's ancient history. Quit raking it up." Could I be blamed? He was a gifted photographer but refused to shoot me, said he hated portraits. Yet thousands of pictures of Tawny lived on his laptop. When I found them we fought for days. He swore she was his past, that now she was only family. I believed him, and this is how he repaid me? If I hadn't come back early, I'd still be clueless, his safety net while he pined for her. I felt sick and wronged, yet still muttered, "Sorry. I won't overthink again." "Good, this is the last time. You know I care, you're the one I'll marry." He showered, slid into bed, and spooned me from behind. Years ago, when his parents and brother died in a plane crash, he battled vultures circling their estate and couldn't sleep. I was the only one left. I served as his assistant, fought Vance's board war beside him. When ulcers flared from too much liquor, I took cooking classes and coaxed him to eat. When insomnia hit, I read aloud or played white noise, always waiting until he drifted off. He'd clutch me and whisper, "Your family doesn't see you? Their loss. I'm your love and your home, we're each other's last shield." But once Vance rebounded and Tawny returned from grad school overseas, she vaulted to the top of his list. He reminded me to treat her like honored elder. Since when do elders flirt with their junior's fiancé? In the dark I bit my lip and removed his hand from my waist. He said nothing, rolled over, and slept. No insomnia tonight. See? Everything changes. I stared at the ceiling, awake all night, and made a decision. 10 years aren't easy to toss, but I won't keep a man who doesn't love me. I don't want this wedding. I'll tell Jason we should end it amicably. But the next morning I never got the chance. I woke with pounding temples, my forehead blazed, high fever. Jason looked at my glazed eyes and his own narrowed in irritation. "We're out of meds. Hold on for now. I'm driving my sister-in-law home so you don't get her sick. When I'm back I'll take you to the hospital." He snatched the car keys and took Tawny home. I watched his back disappear, a dull, dense pain blooming in my chest. He had already been ruthless enough, but I refused to accept it. 10 years of love, I didn't believe he cared nothing for me. He would come back, right? If he came home and showed even half a care, I would suggest canceling the wedding, give us a final shred of dignity and hand him to Tawny. Yet I waited half the day and he never returned. Instead I saw Tawny's new Instagram post. "Cramps from hell, but luckily he's here. He said he'd always be around if I needed him, and he meant it." That he could only mean Jason. At that moment I lost the last scrap of hope in him. 15 years of knowing each other, 10 years together, even a dog would have earned some affection, but this is how he treats me. I changed my mind. No cancellation. I'm going to jilt him. When Jason planned to walk out, he never considered how I'd feel, so I won't care about him either. On our wedding day he can be the clown. I swallowed the sting behind my eyes and dialed 911. The moment the paramedics lifted me in, a sky-high fever sent me into convulsions and I blacked out. When I woke, the nurse said, "Good thing you called early. If you'd been alone, that febrile seizure could have killed you." Before her words faded, Jason rang. "Something's come up at the office. I can't come look after you, just pick up something at the drugstore." He hung up before a single word of concern could escape. When Jason has a headache or a cold, I never leave his side. Back when his family first imploded, he woke from nightmares and I sat up with him entire nights. I'm not demanding payback for past kindness, I never asked for anything. But while I'm hospitalized with a raging fever, he's nursing Tawny through menstrual cramps. Classy, Jason. I gripped my phone and texted his archenemy Wesley, "Mr. Chong, you've always wanted my equity in Vance. I'm ready to sell." I stayed 2 nights and then checked myself out. The bridal studio called. "Riley, which of the next 5 days works for you and your fiancé for photos? With barely 20 days to the wedding, if you don't shoot now, the prince won't be ready. I'll check with my fiancé and call you back." I rang Jason, rejected. I messaged, no answer, so I went straight to headquarters. The secretaries told me, "Today Miss Sterling officially joins as executive assistant." Mr. Vance took the whole floor to the hotel ballroom to celebrate. I got the hotel name and rushed over. When I became Jason's chief of staff, Vance was bleeding from every artery. There were no welcome galas then. We rotated on 20-hour shifts, grabbing 2 meals if lucky, surviving on less than 5 hours of sleep. Tawny's onboarding party now outshone my engagement dinner. I stepped inside the glittering ballroom. Before I could breathe, Jason hauled me out. "It's my sister-in-law's welcome gala. Don't you dare make a scene and ruin her night. She's your new EA, what about me?" I tried to stay calm, but my voice cracked. Sick and feverish, I'd never seen him at the hospital. He'd only texted, "Take the day off, rest." If I hadn't come tonight I'd never have learned he'd given my chair to Tawny. Every time I decide he can't sink lower, he proves me wrong. Jason handed me a tissue. "Stop crying. You've worked yourself to the bone for years, I'm letting you catch your breath. You majored in computer science at an average school, she's Ivy League and a perfect fit. Let her be my EA, you just enjoy life as Mrs. Vance." Now my degree is suddenly inadequate. When I swallowed cocktails until I vomited blood for his deals, my diploma didn't bother him. Seeing me silent, Jason assumed another tantrum and grew irritated. "Skylar, I'll file my resignation in an hour." I clenched my fists, forcing down the ache and fury. His face relaxed. "Good. Keep being reasonable and I'll take care of you. We're done, go home." Tawny was beckoning, he wanted back to her. I held his sleeve. The studio asked when this week we can shoot the wedding photos. I'm flying out for meetings, no time. Fine. I left the ballroom and called the planner, replace every photo and video for the reception screen. I compiled footage of Jason and Tawny cheating and emailed it over. If they've torn off every mask, I won't leave them a fig leaf. Jason claimed he was away on business, yet for the next week he took Tawny abroad to watch the northern lights. Under the aurora they kissed and swore lifelong devotion, just the two of them. 7 days later I phoned him, it's time to fit the gown and tux. I've got negotiations in Europe, can't make it. Tawny's build is close to yours and her taste is better. She'll pick several gowns overseas and bring them back. As always, he decided for me without asking. I was already numb, I merely said okay. Tawny tried on dress after dress and, for good measure, shot an engagement album with Jason, which she forwarded to me. A wedding without portraits would be weird. Since you and Asu are busy, I helped out. You can just AI swap my face later, no need to thank me. Looking at the pictures, I remembered Jason's phobia about kissing on camera with me, gone with her. Their lips didn't quite touch, but the suggestion was plain. I darkened the screen and told the housekeeper who'd just arrived, pack every woman's garment and toiletry, leave the rest. I hauled every possession I had out of the penthouse loft. Then I met Jason's nemesis and signed away my entire Vance stake. The day before the ceremony Jason finally flew back, with Tawny at his side. They delivered the gown, and she volunteered to be my maid of honor, bridesmaid dress already in hand. Tawny urged me to try everything on together. The gown she'd selected for me was a sliver of silk that barely covered the essentials, something you'd expect in a nightclub, while she wore haute couture, a diamond tiara glittering in her hair, looking far more the bride. The bride is gorgeous, Jason said, but his eyes never left Tawny. We hadn't seen each other in a month. He spent barely 10 minutes with me before hurrying off with her. Before they left he warned, I'll pick you up at the hotel tomorrow. Tell your friends to go easy. I hate those dumb groom torture games. Sure. He needn't worry. I'd already texted every friend and relative. Wedding cancelled, no one will show. The instant Jason and Tawny were gone, I called the big clients I'd landed for Vance. I've moved to a new firm. Consider it a housewarming, better terms await anyone who follows me. That night I couldn't sleep, I stared at the ceiling until dawn. I wonder what face Jason will make when the ceremony starts and he realizes I've fled. And how will Tawny react when her home-wrecking clips roll across the screen? The next morning at dawn, I dragged my suitcase to the high-speed rail station. Right when the groom's fetch the bride motorcade was supposed to roll up to the church, I was sliding into my seat on the bullet train. At that exact second, a tsunami of calls and messages crashed in, so many that my phone froze for a beat. I hung up on every call, but texts and WhatsApp pings kept chiming like a broken slot machine. Most of the pop-ups were from Jason. Skylar, where are you? You had someone loop a video of me and my sister-in-law in the penthouse loft, plus that shot of us kissing under the northern lights. What the hell? When did you even record it? Were you downstairs that night? Why didn't you tell me? It's not what you think. Come back and I'll explain. And why did you sell your equity to Wesley? Now he owns 1% more than me, he'll have louder say in the boardroom. You know better than anyone that he and I are enemies. I'm not blaming you. Kissing Tawny was a moment of weakness. 10 years, Skylar, I honestly wanted to marry you. You spent months planning this wedding. You'll come back and finish it, right? I'd known Jason 15 years, dated him 10. Never once had he spammed me like this. I skimmed 3 texts, then deleted his WhatsApp thread. Who does he think he is? Cheat 5 minutes before the vows and still expect me to show up in a wedding gown. Whatever love I had for him had already hemorrhaged away, one wound at a time. If he didn't love me, he could have broken up. Instead he agreed to marry me, then tried to humiliate me by bailing. If he'd shown a sliver of respect, I wouldn't have played this dirty. The ringing drove me nuts. I blacklisted Jason's number, but Tawny called next, more annoying than a cloud of fruit flies. I already had a new SIM. I yanked the old one, snapped it in half, and opened a fresh WhatsApp account. 6 hours later I stepped off the train in Shanghai. Richard, my new boss, lined up the entire C-suite to throw me a welcome gala. Did Jason's brain short-circuit? A gorgeous powerhouse like you, and he cheats with the woman who's technically his sister-in-law? Thank heaven for his stupidity, otherwise I'd never have poached you. Haha, those temple donations finally paid off. I pressed my lips into a polite smile. Let's not mention Jason again. He's past tense. Look at me bringing up that jinx, I'll punish myself with 3 shots. Richard apologized like he feared I'd bolt. We'd met years earlier. Several Fortune 500 clients had tried to recruit me, too. But I'd been Jason's devoted girlfriend, leaving never crossed my mind. Jason claimed my resume wasn't as shiny as Tawny's, yet diplomas only matter the first year out of college. After that, investors care which companies you've scaled and which deals you've closed. Nobody obsesses over GPA. In the end, he just needed an excuse to clear the penthouse for his first love. After the gala, Richard had a driver take me home. When he'd courted me, he'd promised a condo. It was already staged to my taste. Skylar, rest up. Take a month off, travel, shop, swipe the corporate card, whatever. Everything's on me. Worried the cheating drama had wrecked me, he postponed my start date and volunteered his gorgeous son Ryan, still in college, to keep me company, half playing Cupid. The kid's 7 years younger than me. Richard really commits. Still, Ryan read the room. Don't stress, sis. Dad's a harmless prankster. For the next month, treat me as your personal tour guide plus gaming buddy. He's a kinesiology major, all sun-kissed muscle and toothpaste commercial grin. He calls me Big Sis, as easy to hang with as the boy next door. His original plan was a month-long European hop, but I wanted to see my own country first. When I was little we couldn't afford vacations. After college every trip revolved around Jason's meetings. Even when I set foot in a new city, I saw conference rooms, not scenery. I wanted Xi'an for the terracotta army and mutton stew, Chongqing for authentic hot pot and the neon-lit Hongya boardwalk, Yunnan for mountains, lakes, and a photo shoot in ethnic minority costume. Jason had sworn he'd take me to every corner of China, yet he flew Tawny across time zones to chase the northern lights, never sparing me one afternoon for the Forbidden City. Now I didn't have to beg for his calendar. Ryan booked us tickets to Xi'an that same night. On touchdown he summoned a dozen classmates, guys and girls, personalities all over the map, all stupidly attractive. When a platoon of radiant 20-year-olds yelled sis, in unison, gloom became impossible. While I soaked up the freedom, Jason's world combusted. A mutual friend FaceTimed me for a gossip fest. I snuck into your cathedral for the train wreck. The second the screen flashed Jason banging Tawny in the penthouse and smooching under the aurora, both turned the color of guacamole. They wave the soulmate flag after midnight, then play innocent at the altar. Just get together, nobody would care. Jason told the whole chapel the Vance empire would have collapsed without you, so he could only ever marry you. Tawny swore Jason's late brother saved her life, so she'd stay celibate 5 years. 5 minutes after the funeral she's riding the surviving brother, classic homewrecker speed run. The entire Eastbrook social feed is roasting them alive. A few whispers won't draw blood, with thick enough skin, you're bulletproof. But I'd handed my shares to Jason's nemesis, so civil war reignited inside Vance Corp. Big-ticket clients bailed, citing moral disgust, and the IPO he'd prepped for 3 years officially flatlined. I shrugged, muted the chat, and kept road-tripping with Ryan. We hit Xi'an, Luoyang, Nanjing, Chongqing. The moment our plane kissed the tarmac in Yunnan I heard Jason had flown after me. Buzzkill, Emery groaned. Not in the mood for confrontation, I cut the vacation short and clocked in early. Our sandbox is tiny. If Jason wants to find me, he will. The new firm was shopping for a VP to run LA operations. I volunteered. Ryan followed, claiming exchange semester, though outside of lectures he's glued to my side. Eastbrook's safer with a roommate, don't you think? Dad will freeze my allowance if I get evicted. Big sis, have a heart. Buddy's throwing a yacht party and I need a +1. I know no one here but you, help a kid out, sis. Ryan always has an excuse, and the word sis grows flirtier each day. This time he forgot his towel and begged me to bring it. I cracked the bathroom door 2 inches. He yanked it wide, flashing the full spectacle, broad shoulders, tapered waist, textbook V taper. Sports science really sculpts gods out of mortals. All I felt was a splitting headache. Ryan, I didn't do older man/younger woman drama, and I had even less interest in a boy 7 years my junior. Sorry, sis. Did I forget my towel and annoy you? Don't kick me out, okay? If Dad hears I upset you, he'll chew me out for sure. Ryan hung his head, looking utterly dejected. The refusal died on my tongue. I pinched my aching temples and walked back to the living room. My best friend called. Before I knew it we were dissecting Jason and Tawny. You have no idea how many jokes Tawny's made of herself since she became Jason's executive assistant. She's the other woman, so she thinks every woman is. Tons of Jason's female staff got fired. He'd be in a meeting with a female client and Tawny would insinuate the woman was a homewrecker. Deals crashed and burned. Jason finally fired her. They're done. Jason's been hunting for you. Everyone figured he'd give up, but he's only gotten more obsessed. Word is Tawny was just a distraction. He's still in love with you. I let her ramble, mostly smiling and changing the subject. My parents once snapped that I was the dog that bites without barking, played sweet and harmless, then turned colder than anyone when I struck. Harsh, but true. For 10 years I'd been happy to play the devoted puppy, groveling for whatever scraps of affection Jason threw me. I'd even swallowed my pride while he flirted with Tawny right in front of me. But the moment I fled the altar, every ounce of love I'd felt for Jason stayed behind in the aisle. After we hung up, I didn't give my friend's gossip another thought. I never expected to run into Jason in the States half a year later. He was wearing the bespoke suit I'd ordered for him, now hanging off a frame that had lost at least 15 pounds. When he spotted me, his eyes lit, and he sprinted over. "Skylar, it's really you. Do you know how long I've searched?" I answered with pure impatience. "What do you want?" The cold shoulder through him, resentment flashed across his face. "You vanished without a word. Do you have any idea what these months have been like for me?" I cut him off. "You cheated before the wedding and were planning to bail. I don't see a single thing wrong with my exit." For a second he looked rattled. He grabbed my hand. "It isn't like that. Listen, yes, I once had feelings for Tawny, but they were just teenage regret. The night I joked about running, it was a stupid impulse, I never meant it. The only woman I've ever wanted to marry is you." I'd never thought hearing his voice could irritate me this much. Kissing Tawny and saying we should bolt, just an impulse? Posing with her beneath the northern lights, letting her do bridal shoots with him, years of murky flirtation, those were impulses too? I didn't bother arguing. I shook off his grip. "I don't take back a man who's soiled." Jason stared, suddenly certain. "I get it, you're jealous about Tawny. Fine, I'll cut her off completely. Now will you come home?" He reached for me again. I stepped aside, repulsed. "We're finished. 10 years, Skylar. You loved me too deeply to drop me overnight. You're just throwing a tantrum. Watch, I'll prove Tawny means nothing." He spun and stalked off, though whether he was fleeing the truth or clinging to denial, I couldn't tell. He'd barely gone when my client Chester appeared with an armful of red roses. "Rain, surprise. I'm your negotiating partner today. Happy? Flowers for my favorite CEO. May they make you smile." A half-American heartthrob was East Coast royalty. Since crash-landing into my life a month ago, he'd christened me his dream girl and pursued me with headline-making flair. I accepted the bouquet. "Rowan. So if you're here to negotiate, does that mean a sweeter unit price?" "If you'll be my girlfriend, absolutely. In that case you should donate the whole shipment, not just discount it." He laughed. Joking. "But if you ever said yes, one pallet would be pocket change." I smiled. "Guess how many shipments my net worth could swallow?" Chester winked. "To me, Skylar, you're priceless. And you, Mr. Caldwell, are an excellent partner. A competitive quote might bump your share of my supply chain." He roared with laughter. "Skylar, you're brilliant and irresistible. Even if romance is off the table, having you as a friend is pure luck." Dinner led straight to a rock-bottom supply contract. In return for his generosity, I accepted an invite to his new yacht that night. When the after-party ended, I helped a tipsy Chester down the gangway. He clutched my hand, kissing it repeatedly. "Skylar, I've never wanted any woman like this. You're as mysterious and captivating as your homeland. Beautiful, give me a chance?" Ryan was already waiting at the curb. Seeing the spectacle, he stalked over with a fake grin and shoved Chester toward his buddies. "Mr. Caldwell's hammered, get him home." The car reeked of Ryan's jealousy. "He kissed your hand, why didn't you stop him? Do you like him now? Are you?" I'd had enough. When we stopped, I cut in. "Ryan, my love life isn't your business." I hadn't even raised my voice, yet his eyes rimmed red. He lowered his head. "Sorry, sis. I was jealous. It's my birthday today. I waited at home forever, thinking you'd show. I'll stop being petty, just don't be mad, okay? Guilt pricked me. I didn't know. I'm sorry, I don't have a gift. Then can a hug be my present? Ryan was built like a linebacker, golden brown and broad-chested, but when he looked at me with those puppy eyes all I saw was adorable desperation. I hesitated, then nodded and hugged him. He dipped quickly and pecked my cheek. Ryan's 21st birthday wish, marry Sister Skylar, even if I have to take her name. Before I could react, Jason barreled over, face livid, and smashed his fist into Ryan's jaw. I swung my handbag at Jason's head, yanked him off, and stepped in front of Ryan. Enough, Jason, have you lost it? In the 15 years I'd known him he'd always been poised. I'd never seen this kind of frenzy. Jason stared, hoarse. Why can he kiss you? What exactly is he to you? None of your business. I'm your boyfriend. Not since the moment I left you at that altar. Jason wanted to explode, but he swallowed it. Are you still mad at me because of Tawny? I had her thrown out of my house this morning and yanked her card. From now on she and I are finished. So when he showed up this morning, Tawny was still living in his place and swiping his card, entangled with another woman, and he says he still loves me, come back and marry him. Didn't he find that disgusting? I frowned. We're over. What you do with other women doesn't need explaining. What breakup? I didn't agree. Skylar, I already apologized. Before Jason could finish, Ryan beside me sucked in a sharp breath. I lost all patience with Jason and helped Ryan inside. Jason tried to follow. I shut the door in his face. Back home I pulled out the first aid kit and cleaned the cut on Ryan's lip. Sis, it hurts, he whimpered, eyes shining. I pressed a cotton swab hard against the corner of his mouth. Quit the act. A national Sonda champion knocked down by one punch from Jason and couldn't get up, please. Ryan muttered, that cheating scum is your ex? He doesn't deserve you. Even Chester the Playboy is 10 times better. Click. I snapped the kit shut. Ryan, I know how you feel, but I'm 7 years older. In 2 years you'll think I'm ancient. Ryan perked up. So if I still like you in 2 years, you'll say yes? You can try. I'd meant to refuse, but his pitiful look melted me. Deal. I filmed it, no backing out, sis. He hugged my waist and spun me in circles before setting me down. After the train wreck with Jason, I'd sworn off romance. Yet looking at the light in Ryan's eyes right then, I couldn't help hoping again. As for Jason, I shrugged him off. His ego was massive. When we were together I orbited him like a moon. I thought once I rejected him he'd fly home. Instead, he rented the unit across the hall and schemed to bump into me. Even when Ryan loathed him and secretly beat him black and blue, he wouldn't quit. One day I stepped out of my car and he blocked me. Bloodshot eyes, he looked wrecked. Skylar, Tawny was my fault. But after you left you fooled around with several guys. Let's call it even, go home and marry me, forget the mess, and live, okay? In our story I'd always been the one to step back. Now he was taking a step, but I wasn't biting. No. My refusal shredded the calm he'd worn for weeks. He snapped. What more do you want? Yeah, I messed up. But you ditched me at the altar, humiliated me, sold your shares to my mortal enemy, and torpedoed our IPO. Haven't you punished me enough? I watched his tantrum with zero expression. No need for speeches. I left for one reason, I don't love you anymore. I turned, he grabbed my arm. His eyes were crimson, grief and rage churning. Stop acting like the victim. 10 years down the drain, are you really blameless? I hate explaining myself, but I knew if I didn't, we'd never have closure. I have thought it through, Jason. Our love kept shrinking. I tried to save us, but you only grew colder. When I found out you'd cheated with Tawny and still wanted to ghost our wedding, I broke down sobbing. I wondered, was it like those drunk execs joke, that long engagements kill spark? Or did the staff whisper that my cloud eclipsed yours and bruised your ego? Maybe teen obsession with Tawny left a scar you couldn't drop? I stopped digging for answers. Jason, you cheated, you wronged me. You own the mistake, not me. He stared, voice raw. But I regret it. Your consequences aren't mine to carry. I pushed past him and went home. Jason refused to leave, somehow finding my number and texting. You said your parents favored sons and treated you like trash. We met 15 years ago, dated 10. I was your only family, are you abandoning even me? I replied, my real family already tossed me, why wouldn't I toss you? For over a month he haunted me. When he finally saw there was no opening, he left. For the next 2 years he flew to LA every month. I wouldn't see him, so he watched from afar, playing the repentant lover. Once I grew close to Ryan and agreed to be his girlfriend, Jason vanished. Soon after, Tawny's pregnancy made him marry her. Their marriage was a daily brawl. Jason kept a mistress who looked eerily like me. Tawny's tantrums changed nothing. He finally moved in with the girl. When Tawny beat the mistress into miscarriage, she landed in jail. Ryan and I got married that very day. We soon had boy-girl twins. I took over Shaw Global and kept expanding it. Jason divorced Tawny, remarried several times, none lasting. Insomnia gnawed him worse each year. The day Vance Corp filed for bankruptcy happened to be our twins' 5th birthday. My in-laws gifted the kids a billion-dollar theme park resort with great fanfare. Jason, gaunt and dim-eyed, waited outside the hotel forever. He crushed his cigarette, voice bitter. Skylar, if I'd stayed true, would I be the one with both love and an empire? I didn't answer. Ryan was calling, and I walked toward him smiling. Spotting the stack of car keys, deeds, and share transfer contracts in his hand, I groaned. They're 5, you don't have to spoil them yet. It's not for them, it's for you. Wife, their birthday is your Labor Day, you deserve the reward. Hide these before Mom and Dad accuse me of favoritism again. I took the contracts, laughing in spite of myself. I had lousy parents and a decade-long disaster of a romance. But life, in the end, was kind. Thanks for listening. Rate today's story 1 to 10. If you liked it, like and share, drop your thoughts below, and subscribe for more. See you next time.